Hello, my soul friend and soul family, and welcome back to Sovereign Soul Radio. So, if you are new here, this is a podcast that is here to support you on your journey of awakening, of being red pilled, but also of healing all aspects of yourself: mind, your body, your gut, your emotional self, your spirit, your soul connection, all of that. So, in this podcast, we cultivate conscious conversations to support this journey that we are all on individually right now and collectively. It used to be that just some of us seem to be on a spiritual journey, but now in these magnificent, chaotic, horrible, wonderful, transformational times that we are in, we are all being called and invited and actually demanded to embark on this journey of dismantling this matrix, of understanding who we really are and what we really are and what this human reality is really about. So if you are somebody who is just awakening right now, welcome. Nothing is as it seems. Everything that you learned, we must unlearn, and there is much more to everything than we have ever truly known or understood. So, welcome to this great awakening. And it is such a privilege for all of us to be awake and aware, seeing more of the big picture, and then understanding that we all have this very sacred brotherly, sisterly camaraderie between ourselves as global patriots, as light workers, as truth seekers, as way showers and wisdom keepers. And this is such an amazing journey that we are on. So if you're new here to the podcast or you've been here for a while, welcome back. Thank you so much for being with me here. And it's really right now for me feeling like this mission going forward is all about growing wisdom and sharing healing. So, in today's conversation, I have named this something along the lines of our ever growing compassion and our wise vigilance, because I want to just really have a heart to heart and get a bit more grounded. It's already like middle of February, and this is my first episode of 2021. So I want to welcome you to a new me, next stage for me, next what do they call this? Next season? Season of the podcast? Sure, next season of the podcast, but also because I know that we're also meeting a brand new version of you right now. And so in this episode today, let's talk a bit about what's going on. Let's talk about the energies that are moving. Let's talk about what this means for us, how we cope with this, but how we also ride this wave of transformation so that we are truly taking advantage of what these days, what these times, what the astrology and numerology of these times, what all is truly capable for ourselves societally right now, but also uniquely as individuals on all levels in our life. So thank you so much for being here with me. It is truly my biggest honor, my greatest honor, and also duty to show up and to exist publicly within these days. Yeah. So a little bit of housekeeping before we begin. Just a couple minutes here. Is that when the ad comes up, because we're gonna have an ad in most of these episodes. If you're listening on the podcast app, always feel free to skip by that quickly. By hitting the 15-second forward button or whatever it is on your app of choice for podcasts. But still, Anchor is a great little place to do creative things, and it doesn't cost you money. And because our creativity, it'd be cool if it didn't cost money, right? Housekeeping item number 2 is that this podcast is now on YouTube. So we are going to have a podcast upload date every single week. I am not certain which day that is yet. I am meditating on that. I will have a chosen very, very soon. Housekeeping piece number 2 is that this podcast is now also on YouTube. So we will have a weekly uploading schedule. I'm actually going to be on a schedule going forward. Wish me luck. I'm going to do it. But that being said, if you want to actually sit with me, have me on your device, have me in your living room or whatever, as we have these conversations, that's completely possible now. I feel really vulnerable, but it is possible because connection is extremely important. You will notice that I am quite a hand talker, though. Like, normally when I'm rambling on this podcast, no one gets to see all my hand gestures unless you hear the wind that my hand gestures are making. So, yeah, come over to YouTube if you feel like hanging out to that degree. I myself, like, there's a lot of important things that I listen to for my heart, for my soul. But for me, I have to keep it only auditory. I would prefer to only be listening rather than seeing and listening. I'm just for I'm a good ear learner. I'm a good auditory learner, so that's my preference. But just giving you options. And if you do want to come be friends over on YouTube, because I will be uploading 3 videos a week plus the podcast. Mark my words, 2021 has made me fierce and strong in new ways. So if you're here watching on YouTube, please give this video a like and also subscribe to the channel, because then you are going to help me reach more people and also be hopefully truly supported as I create content going further, so that I can making these conversations and making resources for all of you my number one thing. I can make it my day job while not falling into these awful socialist systems that are trying to move in here. So please help support me so that I can support you and support many, many others in return. And housekeeping piece number 4 is that if you are having any body situations, health situations, inflammatory situations, gut, digestive, poop situations, that's my jam. That's what I've been a professional at for over 10 years now. So please go check out season 1 of this podcast, which this is not uploaded to YouTube, so you actually have to go over to the podcast land. But go check out season 1, because I've got a lot of episodes specifically about how to begin healing your body and healing your body from a gut conscious perspective and much, much more. So for anybody that's new here, I'm Ivy. I'm a colon hydrotherapist and holistic practitioner and coach and soulful friend with a lot of different skills in my tool chest. And I'm here to help people walk through this journey that we're in now. And again, it is such an honor to be here with everybody. When we think big, big, big picture, that we are eternal souls, that we are temporarily in these human bodies for so much more purpose than any of us really get. It's really incredible that we are all waking up together, that we are all joining forces, that we are overthrowing the system, and we are truly creating a new and better world. We are in the times of humanity completely changing course. We're in that crossroads spot right now where things are either going to go left and horribly shit for generations and generations and generations and generations and generations and generations to come, or we're splitting off and we are expanding our consciousness and becoming more compassionate and becoming more pragmatic and getting rid of and evicting all of this darkness that has been really plaguing this world for thousands of years. So we are at such a crossroads right now. And if any of that sounds exaggeratory, I don't know if that's a word, but if that sounds exaggerated, truly, those are the times that we're in. We're in something that looks like a geopolitical war, an exopolitical war, which means beyond Earth. We're talking more galactic type shit, but we are also like at the heart of all of this is an energetic war. This is a war over consciousness. This is a spiritual war that we are all in. So for, people that are just waking up right now, that might seem extreme, to sound like, hey, it's like we're in a movie type shit is happening in this real life. Movies are based off of what this reality is. We've just been shown movies to keep us thinking that only happens in these well-devised movies, so we're in such a bizarre time, and really the most important time in humanity's histories. We are the ones in this lifetime that are living through the complete changing course of human history, of human civilization, of our evolution, and it is remarkable that we are watching history, the biggest of history be made. So, welcome. Thank you for waking up. Truly, we need all of us to wake up as quickly as possibly, and I'm here to try to help it be a little bit more graceful, hopefully. And for all of my returning soul friends and soul fam, because this podcast has already been around for a while, and we've got beautiful brothers and sisters all over the world listening with our ears and our hearts here. And for everybody that knows that I haven't put up an episode since the end of December. I've been going through a lot personally, a lot, and I have deeply explored solitudinal care, but through an old shadow of mutism, of social mutism, and that's a really big conversation that I'm healed enough to share appropriately, but it's such a big conversation that it's not going to be in this episode today, but it's going to be in one of the next episodes coming up. And I want to share more of my personal journey so that you understand me a bit more if you care to, but also so that you can see parts of you and me and you. And, as we mirror ourselves to each other, sometimes certain perspective shifts can really, really help us heal our own selves. So I want to share my healing and my introspection of myself and my self inventory and what this journey of being truly stuck yet also sacredly held in silence for a long time. And I know how I'm saying this, I'm being so vague right now. But I want to share this part of this journey with you because I feel like there's going to be some medicine in it for at least some of our listeners here. So I'm going to share that in an episode coming up. And with it, it's not an excuse for me being less present socially. Excuse isn't what it is, but I want to share just an understanding. I want to share my experience, because it's a bizarre thing, yet I think it's very common. And we have so many social pressures these days, and we're often so overstimulated. So I am re-emerging out of selective mutism and also burn out. Oh my God, my body has been through some things in the last 2 months that what actually the last 6 months has been I've had my ass handed to me repeatedly in ways that my other than the topical steroid withdrawal, but in ways that my body hasn't experienced for a really long time. So it's been an interesting journey, and I definitely want to share with you, but again, it's going to be in one of the very next episodes. But with that episode, I'm also going to share it with you as an open apology. And I want to do this because it is what is most energetically responsible for me. And also, I think a lot of us don't know how to receive or give a real, true, compassionate apology where we're owning our things. And that's important for me to practice, but also to model for others. So that's another reason it's an open apology of an episode. But why do I feel like there's an apology to be had? I was going through my own stuff, and we should not have to apologize for that. But I understand that I don't always communicate those things well. And when I take space, often I just disappear. And I desire to navigate that more gracefully as I grow older. And for that reason, for me disappearing, there's apologies to be made. And so that's in another episode soon. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to put all of that out there, and to be really, really honest, I actually filmed a podcast episode. No, not filmed, but recorded a podcast episode a couple weeks ago on January 22nd. And I was saying everything that I've said in this one so far, but I was coming from such more of a place of pain and desperation, as I was trying to break free of myself. And sometimes we create for the sake of creating and for our own catharsis and transmutation, but it's not always maybe the right thing to be shared. Sometimes we create just for ourselves, and that's totally interesting and totally okay too. So quickly on the topic of solitudinal care, I don't know if you've heard that before, but that's a term or a phrase that came to me some maybe months ago, sometime in 2020, and it just became so apparent that for me as an introvert, as somebody that has experienced forms of mutism a lot in my life, especially as a young child, and then especially quarantine just became the perfect storm for me to fall into this gorgeous little pit of silence. and and I really want to like emphasize that there's very, very gorgeous side to silence. And then there's also a side that's contracting and stifling. So, oh my goodness, guys, there's when is the last time that you have had some solitudinal care where you've had time to shut off, to pull back a bit, to be really quiet with yourself, to listen and listen and listen and listen and listen, and to listen for the voice inside, and then the voice underneath that voice, and then even the voice underneath that voice. And so for me as a being, that space is necessary. And I'm so grateful that in my current life situation, brought me that and that I could experience that. I know a lot of people have different obligations than I do, and that's not as available for a lot of people. And so I'm very, very grateful for the experience of solitude, but wondering that for you, are there times within your day at all, whether it's at any point in the day, that you can have silence and just be with yourself? Because especially in these days that we are in, we are all like, whether we're aware of it or not, we are all doing a lot of energetic work. Our bodies are the three-dimensional like portal or manifestation of soul, of your eternal electromagnetic soul. It's like the body is what is containing the energy that is us. But then the body also acts as like a conduit and like an acupuncture point on the planet, so that higher vibrational energies and information, different quanta of light, can like literally come into the body through the spinal column, through the sushumna, through the chakra system, and we end up grounding these higher frequency energies into the planet via our bodies. Like that's one reason why we are embodied in these bodies right now, because we are here to do like the spiritual work, the energetic work, the grid keeping work, but we're here to do that while we're in the human body, and we do it through the human body, which is really important for us to understand. So with that, our bodies are transmuting a lot of energies, not just anchoring down these higher vibrational forces, but also like for all the denser, darker, lower dimensional energies that are present on this planet still at this point, that we are also transmuting those energies. We are buffering those energies. We are holding down and stabilizing this grid as the light gets really, really light, and then the dark becomes way more agitated, way more frantic, and like it's in its, death cries right now. So we're in such an energetic storm, such an energetic storm that we are each of us within ourselves, within our bodies. And also we see this influence within our relationships, that we are all truly going through a lot right now. So like your life should not likely be just whatever the status quo was right now. And like myself, you might be having weird things going on with your health and your 3D body, because, these are times that we don't even have context for. You and me don't even have a paradigm for, like maybe from like previous life stuff, if my ideas are accurate about what we have been before and such, but who knows, but still, like, just to understand that we are really going through so much right now. So if you can make time, because I'm sure everybody needs this, not just the heavy duty introverts, but I'm sure that everybody needs this time to decompress, this time to tune out all of the other voices and to truly listen to yourself and to get to know yourself more, because you are changing a lot right now. I just want to lovingly remind you of that. So if suddenly, like, even your like for things or your dislike for things or your tastes, or like if things are just changing just really changing, even like sharply in a different direction, even maybe very, very unexpectedly, maybe even things that you did not feel needed to change and didn't need to change and still don't need to change, but they're just changing. So I just want to lovingly remind you that you can take space for yourself if that's what you need. If that's putting in earplugs and sitting in a dark, quiet room alone, yes. If it's taking a bath in silence, yes. If it's going out to the woods, yes. Like whatever that silence is for you, if it is losing yourself in a painting or knitting or crocheting or running or whatever it is, if that is going to bring you closer to yourself and help you drown out all the noise and the static and the debris of the storm that we're in right now, and just get closer to you and truer to you so that you can hear you and you alone, and so that you can feel you and you alone. Gift yourself that. It is time for that. It truly is time for that. And as soon as you get quiet enough and still enough in here and in here, you're going to hear everything that you have been waiting to hear. So definitely create the time to go inside. I'm not going to say you deserve it, but you deserve it. I'm not going to say you have to, but you have to. So yeah, there's very beautiful and important messages that come through you. Okay. And as much as a lot of us seek information and resources outside of ourselves and seek wisdom outside of ourselves and perspective outside of ourselves, keep remembering that as you get rid of more of the debris and the dysfunctional buffer that a lot of us have energetically when we're in the matrix, as we dismantle all of these things that are untrue for us, you're going to get so much more clearer in hearing that own voice inside. And instead of going outside for some of the messages, instead we just go inside, because we cultivate this to be very, very clean and clear. And again, let me just put in a plug for cleansing your body. The more that we cleanse and clean out the body and hydrate the body and fill the body with vital, vibrant foods that are full of life and light and water. So that's your fruits and veggies mostly, but the more that we repair this body as an energetic system, as a multidimensional portal, as that is what it is, believe it or not, that's what it is. You are a quantum being. Your DNA is quantum. So the more that we can posture these bodies for miraculous experiences and for true wisdom downloads, the more that is just going to happen. And all of this is within our control. And as we create the situation to allow our bodies to upgrade themselves, like through our silence, through our rest, through our breath, through our movement, through us receiving these wisdom downloads from inside and becoming more the 4D and 5D aspects of ourselves, like our lives become easier. Solutions to challenging things, annoying things just come about. Our interactions with others become easier, become more graceful, resolve themselves more quickly when that is what is due. Like our lives and our realities are extremely shifting right now. Besides all that bullshit, we are still going through like a quantum shift of the ages. This planet, this whole solar system, our whole neck of the woods in this Milky Way galaxy, we're all under deep, deep transformation. But the one little place that is like, what is really doing the transformation right now is little blue planet Earth. And all of us light workers and ancient souls that came from all over different star systems to come here to support this mission. So remember that within this storm, and how crazy it is, how insane it is, how chaotic it is, how backwards it is, how biblical it is, how godly it is, how all of the words, it still is so much bigger than everything. It is cosmic. It is cosmic, and this shift has been predicted for so long. Like this, you know, nothing can stop what is coming because this is really like an astrological event. This is bigger than us and our politics, and this is even bigger than humanity. But still, we are in a changing of times as humanity, and it is remarkable that we are all here together. So I also invite you in this episode to check in with yourself. Because, guys, we have been through a crazy, crazy year. And you don't need me to say that. But through this, you've grown. You've grown in your consciousness. You've grown in your understanding. I know that you've grown in a lot of ways. And I don't know how often, like, we all check in to see our progress and to see our growth. And for me, when I look at the last year, I see a lot of growth. I see that I want to remember to ask for my lessons to become more graceful and more humorous. I keep remembering to intend for that. But this year has been challenging. But challenging breeds amazing human qualities of human mastery, So even if you have been so challenged, be it physically, emotionally, mentally, all of the things over this last year, what have you grown? Have you grown more humble? Have you grown more patient? Have you grown more compassionate? Have you grown more wise? Do you discern better and more accurately? Have you grown your perspectives? Have you grown in maybe your flexibility, and that could be any form of flexibility, in boundaries, in knowing what you want? Or did you have a lot of lessons to help you learn about what you don't want, right? Like, yeah, lessons all around. And so I really want to invite you to take a look at your own self and drop any judgment, drop negative perspectives, and even drop positive perspectives if you want. And like, it just sit back, lean back into that seat of neutrality, of like biggest pictures, like, so come from far above yourself, just witnessing from a compassionate, neutral witness. What all has shifted for you? What has shifted in you? What is different about you than it was last year, right before quarantine and everything started? What all is different for you? And I bet you that when you really look at it, my friend, you have grown a lot. So absolutely, like, take a moment to steep in gorgeous self-acknowledgement for your growth, and not with the story of, oh, I also wish that this and this and this grew, or that I grew more in this way or this way. Like, that's still us putting judgment on it and placing a not enough stamp on it or whatnot. Like, let's just look at truly like what we've been through, considering that we are souls on planet Earth during these days. Holy shit. Please acknowledge your growth, and your acknowledgement of your growth is going to support more growth. And if we continually acknowledge our growth from that place of the compassionate, neutral witness, we will keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. Because that's truly when we like parent, we become our own internal parents, the divine father, the divine mother, where we learn to truly parent ourselves. And that is when we are, again, leaning back into that seat of the compassionate, neutral witness, where we can be present with what is and not worry about what is not, and just see ourselves and feel ourselves for the magnificence that we continually are in this life. Continually magnificent. You came in magnificent. I came in magnificent. We will both leave magnificent. We will all leave magnificent, and we are magnificent this whole way in between. Right? And like, where we're going in this trajectory of what is happening right now on this planet. And holy shit, again, guys, we are the ones living through the crazy days. And that's so amazing. But where we are going is a place where we all continually understand, appreciate, and respect, and hold with reverence and sacredness the magnificence of ourselves, of the self, of the body, of the mind, of the spirit, of the soul, and that of one another. So like we have to practice owning our individual and collective magnificence, our power, our sacredness, our ancientness, our multidimensionalness, right? Because going forward, this is the place that we act from, this is the place that we feel from, this is the place that we know from. This is what I'm going to see first in you. I'm going to see the soul of you first and foremost in all interaction. And I will do my best to speak from the heart and soul of me. Do you feel me on that? Like we're all going through all of these changes in all of these ways, but we are also being given the opportunity in every situation to start embodying what that future aspect of ourselves is, what future aspects of humanity are, our goodness, our appreciation, our compassion for one another, our ability and our choice. And that turns into our necessity to continually see the soul of one another. Because in that way, I know that if I harm me, I'm harming you. And if I harm you, I'm also harming me. And from this beautiful sacred place, that was a cat sneezing. But from this beautiful sacred place, this is where we heal ourselves and one another. This is where we heal our addictions. This is where we transmute our shame. This is where we free ourselves of guilt. This is where we forgive all. This is where we desire the best for all. This is where we understand that all beings ought to be protected, ought to be happy, ought to have a good life. And we understand that we are to cause no harm to anything or anyone at all costs. This is where we begin learning these lessons individually and collectively. And we understand that all of us are mid-process. And if there is something to look forward to achieving, it's our unity. It's our hierogamic union, which is our divine internal balancing of our own internal masculine, divine masculine, and the sacred feminine. This is where we marriage the two polarities inside of us. This is where we learn to parent ourselves, like we were speaking a minute ago, with our internal mother and father. And we realize that our external parents truly, they can be known as the false parent only in the way that, we came through them, not for them. And they are still people. They are souls in bodies doing the best that they can. But we start understanding that the internal mother and father is where we begin to parent ourselves on all levels. I also feel called tonight to invite you to soften wherever it is in your reality that your softening will be advantageous to all involved, to balancing all energies. I want to ask you where you feel your softening will bring about more coherence. I hope that made sense, but soul wants me to help you wonder about that inside. This world, I don't need to say anything about this world. I just say this world and you know all the things that I mean. But we're constantly, I feel, given created situations, collectively in situations where we kind of need to tense up a little bit, and we kind of need to make our little shell a little crispier, a little more durable, a little harder, and that impacts how we feel into ourselves and also our ability to connect with one another. And when a lot of us have these crispier, harder outer shells for protection and for stability and for resilience, these crispy outer shells can be a little bit abrasive against one another. So wherever we can safely soften, and remembering that we are quite inherently safe with one another. But wherever we can soften, whether it's with ourselves or with ourselves and others, that softening breeds more softening. And softening is how we heal. Softening is how we resolve conflict. Softening is how we go from incoherent energies to coherent energies. With softening, we become in resonance with each other when we're like out of sync, you know? So for us to see where we can soften, and then if it does involve another person, then invite them to soften through your own modeling, and then even as an invitation, you know, with space and always giving time, there can be so much beauty and so much healing out of softening. And this, I hope you know what I mean by softening, so I should quickly try to explain that. Softening, I've had a lot of practice in my marriage. Like, by a lot, I mean like close to the most. um, because I'll give you my own examples, but when me and my partner we're both fiery, and we're both determined, and we we both, I don't even, you know how these things go, and when we're staying hard at one another, hard with one another, hard with ourselves, everything just stays very headbutting and very incoherent, very discordant energies. And from there, nothing good can happen. Nothing, nothing, no thing that is good comes from that energy. But when either of us soften and invite the other to soften, good, beautiful things happen. And so by soften, I mean that the defenses come down. We recognize that we are not actually in danger. I am not being chased by a lion. I'm not about to be eaten. Like, I'm not actually in danger. My adrenaline can calm the fuck down. My norepinephrine can calm the fuck down. I can like take a deep breath into my body, understand that I do not need to be in fight or flight or freeze. I understand that I do not need to have catastrophic ideas in my mind. I do not need to I do not need to go and spiral out in any directions. What I can do is recognize that I play 100% of my 50%. I can recognize that it always takes two to tango, no matter what you think or how right you are or how innocent you are or whatever. Energetically, with patterns, it always takes two to tango. So let's figure out what all is my stuff, and let's own it. And let's also see what is another person's stuff, and without judgment, hold space for them to own it. Softening means that we're not quite going to we're not going to attach a whole bunch of story and get caught up in the minutia or bring old stuff back up, or future trip. Softening means that in this present moment, I understand that I am indeed safe. I understand that I am capable of a vast array of emotions right now, and I get to choose whichever of this vast array of emotions I wish to experience and feel. I understand that nobody else can make me sad, happy, mad, or glad. I understand that I choose my feelings, and if I want, the easiest, most simplest thing I can do is choose more benevolent feelings. You know, I have the opportunity right now to actually sit and settle back into my heart. I can shut off my mind that is judgmental or negative or polarizing or catastrophizing. I can shut off my mind, and I can just sink into my heart. And I can ask my heart what would be the most compassionate thing that I can do or say or be right now. And then I listen to my heart. And as long as, like, if you're actually listening to your heart, it's going to tell you something fucking wise. because that's what hearts do. Oh, also, your heart is a multidimensional organ, and I'm gonna do an episode one day on the heart, because guys, oh my God, the heart, what makes it beat? Side question, what makes it beat? You know? So softening rewards everybody involved. And the more that I can practice knowing that I'm safe and softening, I'm giving you and others a modeled example, but also permission to do the same. So imagine if we all just do that. Heck, we would be so soft and buttery so soon. We would all be more tenderhearted, more compassionate, more empathic, more empathetic, more telepathic, because we're softening, Our nervous systems would really appreciate it. Our bodies, like the love that we have for ourselves and one another. It's time that we truly start cultivating that, because hate is at an all-time high, So we need to be the peace. We need to become the peace. So just know that the ability to soften and to do it well, it takes a lot of practice. I mean, it can take a little bit of practice. It can take a practice run or two. But the most gifts come from softening. Gifts don't come from staying hard. Staying hard creates division, not unity. Staying hard creates discordant energies, not coherent energies. And staying hard in many ways makes one person right and one person wrong and one person a winner and one person a loser. And these are all still such dual, such polarizing concepts. And again, in our old world that no longer exists, that's how we did things. That's how we rolled. And now we are in this in between where we are learning now. We are in a period of deprogramming and re-education where we are learning how we be in 5D us, in 5D Earth, because when this shitstorm is over, we aren't pre shitstorm us then, like when this is all over, we are next versions of ourselves. So this is the time where we understand this, we practice this, we learn these new ways of being. We do this now. And I know that we all got a lot going on in our lives, but like, this is bigger than our lives. This is about humanity becoming. And so we all need to actively participate in humanity's becoming and put in some effort into this, which again, solitudinal care is epic. So in this episode, I'm not talking politics in this one. And, in future episodes where there's going to be hints of what's going on in this, because I do not want to be censored on, and I don't want to sacrifice the YouTube channel that I'm growing. And I don't want to, I don't want to sacrifice anything, just for the sake of using the certain words that are being censored, So in future episodes around the key figures and people and the things going on right now, we're going to be using some code, and I'll make sure it's really darn obvious to you. But just as a heads up, but in this episode, we're not going to talk that stuff today, because I just feel like providing some energetic love and support here is the most that I can do in service right now. And so with that, almost on the topic of politics stuff, but really about us energetically, I want to share the notion of becoming or of embodying wise vigilance. So looking at literally the definitions of wise and vigilant. Wise is having the ability to discern or judge what is true, right, or lasting. It's common sense, but I'm also adding into this definition that to me, wisdom also, there's a soulful aspect to it. And vigilance is about alert watchfulness and wakefulness, the state of character of being vigilant, watchfulness in discovery or guarding against danger, or in providing for safety, circumspection, and caution. So I want to just share these terms because I think that we're in a time where we must become wisely vigilant in the way of we are learning how to discern accurately. We are we are freeing ourselves of energetic debris and clutter and static and anything that makes us not attuned to perceiving accurately. So we are honing ourselves as adults, as spiritual beings, as woke citizens, as woke cosmic citizens, that we are becoming the next version of humanity. And that means that we must finally actually prioritize cultivating wisdom and being vigilant at the same time, because like we were so close to losing, and like I think we won, but that's got to play out. And like this this may take years to play out. We just don't know, so we need to be able to watch our backs. We must be able to watch each other's backs. And when I say this, I mean in all ways that it is applicable, but for us to learn and keep learning and clearing ourselves and our spaces and our bodies so that we can discern more and more, so that we can anchor wisdom, anchor an expanded perspective, anchor in our own spiritual guidance. Because like everybody's a spiritual being, and the people that don't think that they've been are spiritual beings, they just probably just don't know yet that they are. It's one of those things that once you become it, you can't unbecome it. Yeah, once you're bred, you can't go back to being dough, not properly anyways. Wet bread is just a ball of wet bread. So that didn't make sense, but you know what I mean. So, and in these days, for us to truly be watchful, like another aspect of us being wisely vigilant is for us to pay frigging attention. Pay attention, ask questions, look around, find out who's who, watch everything so closely. Like we must be wise, vigilant citizens going forward, period. Because like our literal freedom is always like just a generation away from being taken away. If we don't teach our children to be wise and vigilant, this world is gone. Right? This world was almost gone because our parents weren't taught this, and then we weren't taught this. So we just have a couple generations of humans that were not taught the important things that citizens of a free world need to be taught. You understand what I'm saying, right? So we must be wise and vigilant. We must look out for ourselves and look out for one another. We must band in unity. We must see our likeness in one another. And what is our likeness? That we are all ancient spiritual beings, that we are love at our core, that we are all multidimensional, regardless of any like human personality, human body aspects, like we know what we truly are, and what we truly are is sacred. So we start learning our common beauty, our common love for one another, and we hold that sacred and true. And we take back our power, and we remember that we are the ones with literally all the power. We are the many. We are so sacred, and us clearing ourselves and becoming wise, becoming soulfully wise, nothing will be able to stop us. Like this, remember, this is about energy, this is about consciousness. So how do we fight it? Like 5D chess, like Mr. T is doing. You know who Mr. T is? Orange Man. Good. We must come at this energetically. Our mass meditations, please host some, or please share some, please organize some, everyone. And I'm going to be organizing them as well. But like we can come at this from so many important places of gathering ourselves, of educating ourselves, as meditating together, of praying together, of cultivating the foundations and companies and businesses of what the new world needs. Like, remember that if we all follow our internal calling, We all are going to take up the perfect space for ourselves in this new world together. We all have a role, we all have a passion, we all have gifts. We are all so unique, and we need to stop fucking focusing on the things that separate us and make us different. We've got to start seeing the matrix for what it is. We got to start knowing the games, and that divide and conquer, separation, these are the games. And we're just not going to play the games anymore, you know? So instead, we're going to unify, we're going to deprogram, we're going to heal our bodies, we're going to re-educate ourselves, we're going to protect the children, we're going to not take shit. We are going to understand that we are the mighty, we are the many, that we, the people, truly do have the power. And we simply are taking it back. And in part of that vigilance, let me also say, if I didn't fully say this, is that we must be so aware of everything that is happening. We must become vigilant and alert, but also in the way of like, we are seeking truth in every situation that is happening. We demand truth and full disclosure. We do not allow our consent to be manufactured anymore, period. We go forward with our own power, where our own authority, our own consent. We begin to understand and reclaim our sovereignty in all ways. This is my body. This is my mind. This is my heart. This is my spirit. This is my soul. Exact same for you, right? No one interferes with any of that. We start truly respecting one another energetically as souls, with love, with compassion, from a place of neutrality. Not good or bad, love, compassion, neutrality. You know, we think that love and compassion, like they're good, like yes, they're benevolent, but it's still, it comes from the wisest form of compassion and love does come from a place of neutrality, of accepting and appreciating free will, of understanding that all of our souls are here for our own growth at this time, as well as to support this incredible transformation of planet Earth, and then all the ripple effect of what will transform cosmically, galactically, in ways that, like, I can't tell you because I don't understand in my little personality of this little human, you know? But there will be a ripple effect from our collective awakening that forever shifts humanity, forever shifts the happenings on planet Earth, that forever shifts the everything about planet Earth and beyond. What? Guys, that's what we're doing right now. And I'm not exaggerating. And I know that a part of you recognizes that what I'm saying is true. I know somewhere in your bones, it's like, wow, that's a mighty big way to see it. But yeah, it has to be that. Like, if we can think big enough, like, I think that's as big as I can think. And you know, thinking big takes practice, because it's like, okay, the first time I did LSD, it was my 29th birthday, and it was magnificent in like nature, in solitude. And I understood that the sun was a portal, and it is. It is. But also I remember that one of my first thoughts was that I was gonna have to think about thinking. And I felt like I was a little man in like the dark confines of my skull. And I had to like push on the walls of my skull to like make more space, because we were gonna expand this mother. we're gonna start thinking much bigger and broader, and we're gonna need a bit more space in this noggin to be able to do that. And that visual just works really well for me. But you know, where we're going is very, 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 very important. And are we gonna like passively get there? Gosh, I hope. But if we're all like, nah, we're a shift this place, we're gonna do this together, we're gonna actively do this, we understand our part and role in this now, we understand the priorities that we had as humans prior to this that no longer matter much, because none of that shit truly matters, right? Like, what is it for you? That being really, really honest with yourself doesn't fucking matter, right? What is it for you? I hope that you've had some ahas so far in this last year of like, oh God, I used to prioritize that. That shit don't matter, you know? I don't need that no more, or whatever. I've had a lot of those, right? So for you, what does that look like? So we need to make space to learn our new skills and to learn our new ways of being and to practice our new ways of being and to begin connecting with people and one another and this world and even nature from a different perspective, from a perspective of future us. Like literally time is not linear, right? None of us really understand time space. I can't educate you on it because all I know is like I don't get it. And it's not linear. Everything is right now, and that's magnificent and also awesome. I'm full of awe at that. So yeah, but understanding that time is not linear and that all is now, then we also understand that those future aspects of us, those future versions of us, that future station of identity of ourselves, that we can access those qualities. We can understand that and pull that into now. We can recognize the ways that we are in future versions of us because it's also now. And we choose to like reverse engineer that and become that now. So I feel soul wants me to say that whatever aspect of yourself that is creating challenge and creating friction for you right now, that it's no longer the time to sweep it under the rug. It is no longer the time to postpone the healing of that, whether it's fear of opening it up, whether it's fear of unearthing it and unboxing it and unpacking it and what others might think or what that experience might be for you. Like, it is time that you are supported on all levels right now to begin unpacking and harmonizing and transmuting and balancing all the places where shadow has taken some root within ourselves and within our relationships, that now we're in the very supported times where we're going to feel safe going into those old things, that it's time for us to heal them and balance them. And even if we could not do that before, it is available to us now. Even if we tried things a certain way before and it did not work, do not base this present moment or any of your future moments thinking of the past, of past times, what did not work. None of that is any longer relative. We are in a new system. We are energetically in a different system, not the matrix. It's a different system where the energetic laws are more balanced. They're more right. So we're going to do that inner work in ourselves and keep coming back to our heart to ask, what is next for me to heal? Where else do I spread my own love? And it's time for us to truly remember and embody the knowing and understanding that we truly are worthy of all things that are good. Coming back to the Galactic Codex that we visited in episode 11 and then maybe episode like 28 maybe. But understanding that all souls, all sovereign beings deserve and are entitled to good, positive, benevolent life experiences. And I invite you to remember the understanding also of the Galactic Codex that duality is not, how do I say it the right way? I'm paraphrasing here, but duality is not what we think it is. We do not need times of pain and trauma to show us what is good. We do not need to experience the very, very challenging and horrible and traumatic in order to know light. We no longer need dark to counterbalance light. Where we are going, darkness is not a requirement. Duality is not a requirement. Duality is not the reality. Where we are going is a place of unity and benevolence. So just beginning to plant the seeds that our future reality is nothing like it has been. What has been, we will refer to as barbaric years. Where we are going, we are not going to have these systems and chemicals and hidden technologies, shit that we don't even know about, we are no longer going to have these things continually keeping us in this very narrow, negative, energetic bandwidth. Where we are going, we are not going to be, our life force is not going to be harnessed and sucked out of us. Our all forms of resources are not going to be stolen from us. Where we are going will be full of the goodness that we create because we are softening, we are knowing and standing and reclaiming our sovereignty on all levels. We are uniting with one another and we are seeing God in one another and the soul of one another first and foremost. These are the steps that we each take right now to begin. Well, not, I mean, we're well on the way, but this is how we pull that future closer in a more graceful and safe way. This is how we transmute these energies. We keep softening and coming into our heart. We keep taking care of the physical body, understanding that it is a holographic light projector and that we truly are technologies. Our bodies are technologies that are creating this transformation. So much of this is happening in the body. And with that, I also want to remind you, my dear friend, to take your Epsom salt baths, sea salt baths, put some bentonite in your bath, essential oils in your bath, flowers in your bath, even just like Himalayan salt that you get from Costco in your bath. Put good things in your bath, get yourself into water or get yourself into the ocean, get yourself into the sea, get yourself into a creek, get yourself into a river, get yourself into the rain, get yourself into water. Drink your water, purified water, purified water, purified water. Oh my goodness, I've been drinking Kangen water for less than a week and water quality changes everything, my friend, everything. But hydrate yourself. Not only drinking water, but also reducing your foods that are dehydrating. So that means reducing your breads, cereals, dehydrated fruit, foods, chips, popcorn, bread, crackers, anything that is dry that's going to take water and moisture out of your body in order for it to digest properly. Reduce that shit. Increase your hydrating foods. This is your fruits, your veggies, your soups, your smoothies, your salads, veggie sticks, like things that are full of water. Even putting chia seeds into your juice, your water, your beverage of choice is great. Also, caffeine. I mean, you know I'm drinking it, but it's organic with Kangen water. That's good. But with our coffees, like, go organic, don't go conventional, don't put crazy shit in it, put healthy shit in it. Don't drink too much of it, it's really acidic. Also make sure that your diet is mostly alkaline. Fruits and veggies, fruits and veggies, fruits and veggies, but drinking enough water every day. Putting some minerals into, like trace minerals into your water is a brilliant idea. Even a pinch of Himalayan rock salt that has like 81 different minerals in it. That is a great way to soften and remineralize your water as well. Also, bioplasmic cell salts are amazing. Highlands is the company that you want to go with if you're interested in those homeopathic remedies. But a bioplasmic cell salt basically enhances the conductivity of your body because our cell salts are like the conductors within our body of electricity and energy. So bioplasmic cell salts are amazing. I'll put a link in the show notes here. Definitely be getting fresh air and sunshine. The sun is a magnificent conduit of wisdom and energies. So get yourself safely out into the sun. Also, get yourself into nature like a forest. The trees are our ancestors. The trees have much wisdom, grounding, and transmutation. So, if you can get yourself into a forest, if you can be underneath the canopy of the trees, if you can be touching trees, if you can have your bare hands and feet onto the earth, into the dirt, into some peat moss. You ever smell peat moss and like moss? Some of the most gorgeous things of being alive. So definitely energetically take care of your body. Also, I know a lot of people are having insomnia and issues. Hi. But also a lot of us are on weird sleep schedules. So I'm in this weird space of falling asleep at 1, 2, 3, 4. And then sleeping late. I've never been like this in my life before, but this is what this is currently like. So a lot of my videos are going to be filmed in this moody nighttime lighting because this is what I'm creative right now, and I'm gonna go with it because we're in end days of times, and you got to do what feels and bees best for you now. So as best as you can, honor your body's ability to rest. Give your body as much sleep as possible, as much as you can, as much as your body will sleep, because number one, this is when the body is repairing itself. This is where we are doing deep, 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 deep work. Number two, whether or not you're aware of this, if you're an old soul, you are probably doing a ton of spiritual, energetic, grid keeping type astral work at night in your sleep. My dreams have been bizarre and so amazing for years now, and it's been all about these times. And I'm gonna save that for another episode because it's a it's worth sharing. But to understand that you are doing great, great work, even if you don't even recognize it, even if you've got no idea about it, you are doing tremendous work when you're sleeping. Not just when you're alive during the day, alive, awake, you know what I'm saying. But there is tremendous benefit to you being very well rested right now. So please take your rest and rejuvenation seriously. Other things that are very, very helpful for the body and the spirit right now is using a neti pot to flush the sinuses. Of course, colonics, colon hydrotherapy, or enemas to flush and relieve the bowels and get rid of the pounds of old poop, mucus, parasites, and yeast that are stuck in everybody's bellies, most everybody's bellies. Dry skin brushing is great for lymphatic system and clearing old sludge away. Getting on a rebounder to do some jumping, also amazing for lymph and circulation. If you can be walking, like even gentle stuff is amazing. And if we want to do a little bit of yoga or stretching, heart openers right now and hip openers are amazing for grounding and transmuting all that's going on within us. And even taking like a really good multivitamin right now, a probiotic, some turmeric or curcumin to help with inflammation, something to help absorb toxicity like bentonite clay, liquid bentonite clay, activated charcoal. These are all just really supportive things right now. And if anything like floating, it's like sensory deprivation. Floating is amazing for the body and for the mind and for the spirit. If you can be going for acupuncture or like cold plunge or cupping therapy, like any of the therapies that are available to you right now will most likely be very, very supportive. So I just want to remind you to please keep taking really, really good care of yourself, because the more that we fill up our own cup and exercise appropriate boundaries and truly love and appreciate ourselves, we help bring that energy to everybody else that we come in contact with, as well as model these really good behaviors for them, and also subconsciously for them, probably give them permission to do more of the same for themselves. Because truly, if we all work better at truly taking care of ourselves and not shooting ourselves in the feet, life gets easier. And then life also gets easier for one another, you know? Yeah. So, my friend, I hope that there's been a lot of goodness in this episode for you. As always, please take of this episode whatever has been useful for you and discard the rest. And also, if you're ever bored, come back through to any of these episodes, because every time we come back around together, there's new things in the conversation that are like the things that we take home that day. So use these conversations as resources for you. I think we're on like number 47 or so. So we've got a decent library of things for you to binge if you're new here. So wrapping up here, I want to tell you always that I love you, that I love you a ton, and that this connection with you, I do not take this for granted. I'm very grateful for your presence, because as much as you are feeling me right now, I am also feeling you. Oh, that's Sam. He feels you too. Oh, hi, Sam. So, okay, so my friend, in upcoming episodes, I have a lot of good things to share with you that are going to be supportive for you. And I'm going to share them in the next episodes. So until then, tremendous, tremendous love to you. Please keep taking really good care of yourself. A little bit better every day. Every day we're going to make ourselves a little bit better. And keep doing the good things. Keep doing whatever good things you're doing. Keep doing them. Maybe add in another one or two. You know, we got this. And let's be really kind to ourselves and be kind to one another. And remember that, like, you truly are worthy of so much goodness. You truly are magnificent. You matter. Please listen to your heart. Please follow your heart. Above all else, listen to your heart. Okay, so my friend, thank you again for being here with me in this episode. If you were tuning in on YouTube, hello. Those things on my arms are my hand socks. I'll explain those another day. But it is such a privilege to always be with you, and I so look forward to seeing you in the next episode, which will be at most 1 week from right now, because this girl, this woman, is finally scheduling herself from a place of strength. So, my friends, so much love to you. So much love to you. I wish you the most beautiful, graceful experience of awakening as possible. And I'm going to see you in the next episode.